What's going on, everybody? It's the Bearded One back with another beer review, and we are doing a Java Latte Cold Brew Milk Stout from Victory. Victory is out of Pennsylvania, Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and they're a fairly big brewing company. I would imagine you've probably seen Victory at your local beer store. I don't know what they look like. Maybe out west, but I'm in Alabama and we get Victory pretty easy down here. In fact, for a while. And then they've been a mainstay. They seem to sell pretty decent here in Alabama. But anyways, I don't have a lot to say about this beer. Everything I would have wanted to know is on the can. It says it's an imperial stout brewed with coffee ale, and it contains lactose, which it's cold brewed milk stout, and that's pretty self-explanatory. They crafted it with One Village coffee. It's an artist blend. Never heard of One Village coffee. I don't know if they're local to Pennsylvania or maybe they're just a company I've never heard of. It just says roasty malts, oats, and special ingredients come together in a milk stout that is cold brewed with a bounty of local coffee for 48 hours to serve up a luscious mix of sweet and robust comforts. They use Pilsner, Munich chocolate, roasted barley, and oats. So there's going to be a roast in here. The Pilsner should give it a lighter body, and then the oats with that lactose should give it, it'll be an interesting mouthfeel because the Pilsner malt tends to give a lighter body with more carbonation, but oats tend to make mouthfeel fluffier, and then lactose will give it a creamier mouthfeel as well. Oats and lactose tend to pair really well, so that'll be an interesting mouthfeel. I'm not sure what to expect on that one. And then hops, they use experimental HBC 472. I don't know what experimental HBC 472 is, never heard of that. Maybe Victory grows their own hops and this is their own personal strain. I don't know. And then the milk sugar and coffee as well. It's 8.2% alcohol by volume, so definitely not sessionable, but I'm pretty sure you already realized that anyways. This is part of their limited release series as well. And let's just crack this thing open. I will be honest, I do not like coffee, for those of you who might be new to the channel or haven't watched any of my stout reviews. However, that has changed over the past month. I do feel like there are stouts out there I could enjoy. They just tend to be on the very sweet side of things. And with this being a cold brew coffee Java Latte beer, I don't expect to like it, but we'll see. That's the whole reason I decided to celebrate Stout Month, is to expand my horizons, expand my palate, and discover beer I wouldn't drink normally otherwise. It's a pretty good pour. I'm proud of myself. I got most of the can in there. Didn't overflow. Got about an inch, 2 finger head, 1.5, 2 finger head. It's a light brown. Very light brown, kind of like a tan almost, beige tan. Retention's pretty good, however it is dissipating. There seems to be a lot of action going on here. It is black. I've said this on several videos now. If it looks like a stout, smells like a stout, and tastes like a stout, it's probably a stout. And so it is black, and it's hard to see in here. However, there's some very light brown highlighting at the bottom. I don't get anything. Well, yeah. Okay, so there's a very opaque, like a dark rubiness coming through, but it's just, you couldn't see through it at all. Yeah, again, I can tell there's some carbonation going on here. This baby looks a little active. Very dark roasted. I get that roasted barley and the coffee straight up. I really don't get anything else. It's really pungent. It's kicking my nose, setting my nose hairs on fire. Yeah, I don't know. Just a thought I had after reading the back of that can. I'm wondering, was the beer treated as cold brew coffee, or was cold brew coffee put into the beer? I'm not sure on that, but that's pretty interesting if they did brew this beer specifically as one would brew a cold brew coffee. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I got anything else. Let's just dive into it. So there's definitely coffee and roast in here. That's definitely the first thing that comes to mind. But and smelling this beer, I wouldn't have guessed it would have been this sweet. But there is a dark chocolate factor in here. It's definitely a more natural dark chocolate flavor. I'm assuming that comes from the chocolate malt. But I seem to remember reading an article or hearing about from a brewer that chocolate malt doesn't actually give off chocolate flavor. So that's kind of interesting, because I don't see why they would have any reason to lie about that. But I do taste just a little bit of dark chocolate in there for sure. It blends in well with that coffee. And then I definitely can tell how the oats and the lactose are playing on the mouthfeel. It definitely got a creamy, fluffy, I guess it's hard to describe fluffy with something you're tasting and not feeling, but it does taste like a fluffy creaminess mouthfeel. Kind of a sweeter, sugary, milky thing. I definitely taste a lot of that lactose in there. And then I think the Pilsner is giving it a little bit of the carbonation. Just a tinge. It definitely is subdued carbonation. It doesn't feel as prickly or as volatile as the beer looked in appearance. But overall, I think this is really good stout. I'm actually really surprised at how this stout turned out. Or at least how I'm perceiving this stout anyways. I had every intention of reviewing this stout during Stout Month, and I followed through with it, but it was really hard because I just don't like coffee, and this is one of the stouts where I said, you know what, if I'm going to push myself and experience beers that I would never otherwise taste, I need to taste something like this, something, a clear cold brew coffee beer. And I don't regret it. Definitely, I guess, shock of the century that this beer is pretty good. Pretty tasty beer. I think there's a tinge of caramel coming in. I'm not sure. I definitely can tell there's a rich malty backbone in this beer. And definitely we're not trying to go for balance or have a hoppy component to this beer. Recommendations, I think this is a I was gonna say a good standard stout, but this isn't a standard stout. It's a milk stout. I think this would be a good example of a milk stout. I know the cold brew thing kind of makes it, more in the novelty category, more of a niche beer. But I think it's a good example of a milk stout. If somebody wanted a milk stout, at a local craft store, I would definitely recommend this Victory Cold Brew Java Latte thing. I think if you're if you're a beginner, you definitely can handle this. It's not pastry stout sweet, but it's definitely got that sugar from the lactose, and then there's that dark chocolatey thing going on, and I think my brain's tricking me as far as the caramel thing, because I know there's Munich malt in here, but there might be just a tinge. Anyways, there's a nice roasty, malty complexity to this beer, nonetheless. And I think that makes it more of a friendly beer for the masses. Stout lovers, try this all day. As far as the grade goes, this is a dang solid stout. I mean, I'm gonna have to put it in the B plus category. It's 3.75 out of 5. I would like to, on personal preference, give it a 3.5 out of 5. But I'm so impressed with the quality of this beer. I can just really tell Victory was on point with this beer. I think it deserves a little bump up. I think I'm okay with giving it a 3.75 out of 5. B plus beer, really good. Hits all the checkpoints you could want in something off this can. Reading this can. Just a solid beer. I don't have much else to say, guys. That about wraps it up. Victory Java Latte Cold Brew Milk Stout, 3.75 out of 5. Until next time, guys. Cheers.